Part 1 of the Year of Dreams has just finished, and now it's time to fulfill on those dreams in 2016. I can't wait to see what happens. But first, we gotta take a step back and reflect on 2015 and the awesome games that the industry brought us this year. What's going on, guys? Taylor here. I know it's been a while, but I've been busy playing games and other things, but gotta make sure, talk about my favorite games of 2015, doing a little top 5 as well as some honorable mentions, because there's some little games that I want to make sure get mentioned that don't get pushed under the rug, or games that didn't quite make my top 5 that I definitely want to make sure I talk to you guys about. So these first few honorable mentions will be quick, but I want to make sure I at least mention them. All right, first from Platinum Games, we've got Transformers Devastation. Man, when I heard this game, this game got announced at E3 this year, or last year, weird, no, I have to say that. When this game got announced at E3, my gosh, I lost it because I knew Platinum was working on a couple things, but I did not know that I feel like they've created their own formula in the way that Telltale has created their formula. That you can just plug in a franchise and Platinum's gonna make it great. I mean, we're getting a Ninja Turtles game this year, supposedly. Actually, yes, we are getting a Ninja Turtles game, I know that for sure. Man, Transformers Devastation was just super fun, kind of short, but also a budget title. Totally worth your money. If you have not played this yet, totally get it. You could probably get it cheap now. So Transformers Devastation, I can talk. Yes, good game. All right, next. This was totally on a whim purchase, and I probably got caught up in the hype of what this game is, and that is Star Wars Battlefront. I'm not a big first-person shooter online guy. Like, that's just not the type of games I play. But I figured it's Star Wars, The Force Awakens is coming out, like let's play it, let's have some fun. And of all the games that I've played this year, I have put more hours into Star Wars Battlefront than any game. I was checking my file the other day and I put in over 60 hours. Now granted, my roommates played a little bit, but I feel like at least 40 of those are mine, because I know for sure before he started playing it was at least 40, so maybe it's somewhere in the 50-ish range. But man, the Walker Assault mode is super cool, where it's just this huge large-scale battle where you could fight not only on the ground with the troops, but in the air with your ships, and then obviously trying to take down or defend your AT-AT walkers. Really cool. But actually, my favorite mode in this game is, I think it's pod recovery or something like that. Basically, there are drop pods that get dropped all over the map throughout the course of the match, and you have to go recover them and then defend them while you basically unlock them. And that's my go-to mode. Totally worth checking out. Unfortunately, PSN is down today, so I won't be able to get to play this. All right, so I have this little tradition every year that I like to call my Christmas break RPG. And basically what that is, for the last 4 years, I've kind of dove into a giant, huge RPG over my Christmas break. I just wake up early, play it all day, stay up late, and I've usually put in anywhere between 30 and 50 hours into these games. Last year it was Dragon Age Inquisition, year before that was Skyrim, and the year before that was Dragon's Dogma. And this year my Christmas break RPG is Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. I initially wasn't sure if I was going to get this game or not, but I was gifted it for my birthday earlier in December, and I knew it was going to be one of those games that I'm like, you know what, when Christmas break comes around, this is all I'm going to do. And I put in over 50 hours in this game. It's great. You start off on foot and you can jump really high, and you can fall really far. Words, I can say them. But it's just the scope is huge, and there's these giant creatures walking around all over the place. But then around 30 hours you get your Skell, or what's on the cover, the giant robot, and man, it's like a completely different game. You can finally travel to all those high places you've wanted to uncover stuff from, and you can just explore in a totally new way. And I'm pretty close to the end. I only have a few chapters left. And it got frustrating in parts. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that they can improve on this with, but at the same time, very addicting, very fun. Just upgrading your guys, exploring the world, doing side quests. Ton of fun. If you have a Wii U, don't miss out on Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's a Fantastic game. All right, here we go. Top 5 games. You know, this last weekend, what I did is every game that I thought would be on my top 5, I replayed for an hour each, and some I wasn't sure. I thought Xenoblade Chronicles X would make it just because I was playing it at the time, but then I went back and replayed these other games that I've played throughout the course of the year, and this one cracked my top 5 in a way that I did not think it would, and that's Batman Arkham Knight. Now, I know a lot of people didn't really care for this game. I'm sorry if that made your ears bleed. Just tap the mic there a little bit. I know a lot of people didn't like this because of the Batmobile stuff, you know, where you have to drive around and it's the tank stuff, and I know people didn't like that. Personally, it didn't bother me because I feel like there are so many other side activities that you can just ignore that for a little while. It's like, you know what, I've done too much tank stuff in a row. Let's go do some Riddler challenges. Let's go chase down the Penguin and fight with Nightwing and stuff like that. So I feel like there's enough distractions that if you're sick of the Batmobile stuff, that you can totally find something else to do. At the same time, I've been saying this all year, the highs in this game are the highest highs of the entire series, and I stand by that. There are some just mind-blowing, incredible moments that just things they do in a game and how they present it are just so cool and totally unexpected. So if you haven't played Arkham Knight yet, go check it out. I know a lot of people had trouble with the PC version. If you have a console, the console version I feel like is the way to go. I had absolutely zero problems on PS4. Yeah, top 5, number 5, Arkham Knight. Next, you know, I'm a big fan of horror games, and there weren't a lot this year, but this was a game I kind of had my eye on, and as the reviews started rolling out, people seemed to really like it, and I hadn't played this type of game before. But I got it on sale on Halloween and played it that whole weekend and absolutely loved it, and I'm replaying it right now. And that's Until Dawn by Supermassive Games and Sony, PS4 exclusive. Now, this is what a lot of people are dubbing a David Cage game, or sort of a AAA Telltale like adventure type game. Essentially, there's not a lot of gameplay. You're walking around, you're doing quick time events, you're making choices that affect the outcome of the game. And it's about these 8 teenagers, I guess, but their actors are way older than that. So there's a serial murder, or there's this like guy hunting them down, and you have to like escape and run away, and like it's one of those games where everybody can die, or none can die, or some. It's done in a really seamless way that I could really appreciate. And it was really cool, and there was just so much tension. Like the lighting, the atmosphere of this game is impeccable, and it just looks incredible. One of the true like next gen exclusives that I feel you really should pick up if you have a PS4. Really one of the hidden gems of this year. It kind of got lost in the wash with a lot of other games, especially since it kind of came out way before the fall rush in August. But Until Dawn, if you have not checked this out and you like horror games, or even if you don't, pick it up. Awesome game. Now this next game I don't have a physical copy for because one doesn't exist, but man, this doesn't have an hour counter on it, at least on PS4, but if it did, I've probably, maybe my most played game of the year, and that is Rocket League. Now, you know, this was a game that I think maybe the gaming people might have known about, like the media people, or like, oh yeah, I've seen this at events and stuff, but I didn't know about it. I just thought it was some game about kicking balls with rocket cars, and you know, it came out for free on PlayStation Plus, and it just blew me away. Me and my friends played it a crap ton for months and months and months, and you know, because it got so popular, they've added so much free content, free, you know, antenna balls, free new arenas, free new modes and modifiers, and the excitement of scoring a goal is unlike anything you've ever done in a video game. It's not like FIFA or anything else. It's just, it feels so good because you have to control this car and hit the ball the right way, and especially if you're flying through the air, it's just exhilarating. If you have not picked up Rocket League, like, do yourself a favor. This is absolutely one of the best games of the year, like objectively. Like, so many people that don't even like sports games have just been raving about Rocket League. So do yourself a favor, go pick up Rocket League. It's totally worth it. So now, this was very close to being my game of the year. I thought this might have done it just because of the hours I put in and how much I loved all the art and everything surrounding it leading up to its release. But I have another game that won my personal game of the year, edged it out, but this is still a fantastic game that I'm still playing today. And it came out in May, I want to say. It came out a long time ago. And that is Splatoon for Wii U by Nintendo. One of their first new IP in a long time, and if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I have been just looking at this fan art forever. I would post it all the time. I loved the fan art that popped up around this community. It was just such a fun spin on the shooter genre. Now, I typically don't like online multiplayer shooters, I mentioned with Battlefield, but this is like a totally different type of shooter. Like, you're just splatting ink everywhere, and you're swimming in the ink, and you're like getting guys, and you know, that's the one mode. Of course, there's a little single player mode that is okay, gives you an idea of what the, you know, used to the controls and what the game's about. And then there's also a competitive mode, which does something completely different. It's sort of like a territory control or control an object type of thing. It was just so much fun. Like, I've put close to 50 hours into this game, and it's an online multiplayer shooter. And what's been great about this game is that they have continued to update it month after month after month. New maps, new modes, new guns, new gear, new everything. Like, they just continue to update it all for free. And I love that. It's kept this game alive for months and months and months, where, you know, normally the game comes out, maybe there's some DLC maps and the community is splintered, but this is just like, there are continuously people to play with. I never have to like sit there and search for a while to find people to play with. Just so much fun. I can see myself playing this for years and years to come, even past when the NX comes out, and hopefully the servers stay on for a while, because I really do not want to stop playing Splatoon anytime soon. Nearly made it to my game of the year, but got just etched out by this other game. Now, there are a handful of games that I'm sure you guys might be thinking, well, you didn't talk about Metal Gear Solid 5 or Fallout 4 or Witcher 3. It's got to be one of those, right? But let me tell you, I didn't really play any of those games. In fact, I've still never played a Metal Gear game. I played a little bit of Witcher on PC, but it just, I don't know, something else got in the way. I forget what it was. And Fallout just didn't look like my type of game. But my game of the year for 2015 is Bloodborne by From Software for PS4. And this game, I didn't think I would like this game, because I played Demon Souls and both Dark Souls games. Didn't really care for them. I put 5 to 10 hours into each, but I was just like, I know where this is going. Not for me. I didn't like the slow pace. I didn't like the generic sort of knights and armor and castles and dragons. It's just been done to death. But this had a really interesting setting, really great atmosphere. This Lovecraftian world, sort of like Victorian London, all mixed together in this really cool way. It was almost like a Halloween town. I love horror games, I love RPGs, and I love action games, and Bloodborne was able to meld those all together in a really awesome way. And yes, of course it's frustrating and very hard, and there were bosses where I just banged my head against the wall for hours, and I had to walk away or do something else and then come back later, and I was able to defeat them. And there are just so many clever bosses in this game that maybe aren't the hardest, but it's just like, that was a cool mechanic. That was a cool thing you just did. I can appreciate that. Tip of the cap to you, sir. Tip of the top hat, as you find throughout the game. And also, a lot of games these days, and I appreciate them, are more or less just experiences. Like, as long as you kind of keep trying, you're gonna get to the end, right? A lot of games don't challenge you, but Bloodborne, it's like, hey, we're not gonna tell you where to go, we're not gonna explain to you what to do, and that might be frustrating for some people, but I appreciated the challenge that it brought, because I haven't been challenged like this in a video game since like Mega Man, or I guess the previous Dark Souls games, but this was a challenge that I appreciated and wanted to keep going. I wanted to see all the bosses, I wanted to see all the different mechanics, I wanted to see what was around the corner. I just wanted to get to the end to say, I finally beat one of these games. And I have to say, outside of those old school Mega Man games, this might be the hardest game I ever beat. And for some people like, oh, well, everybody beat Bloodborne, it's not that hard. I platinumed it, but I don't play a lot of hard games. I don't play games to be challenged all the time. I just want to have a good time, and I had a good time and was challenged in a fine balance. So for me, Bloodborne stands as definitely the best game, in my opinion, of 2015. All right, well, that wraps up 2015, guys. Those were some of my favorite games of the year. There were a couple others that I played and enjoyed, but there's only so much time in a video. I didn't want to take up too much of your time. So There's definitely gonna be more videos coming soon. You know, the break is over, so please look forward to that. And let me know what your favorite games of the year were. We had a really awesome year in 2015. I feel like there was a little something for everybody, whether it was an experimental indie game or a big open world RPG. You know, there was something for everybody. So I'd love to hear what your favorite games of the year were. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys in the comments. So thanks once again for watching, and we will see you very soon.